Downtown Los Angeles.
It's really fitting for what Angel City Lumber is.
Nice.
The kind of balance between the underworld and death and coming back to life. And
that's awesome.
And tree life. Hey, today, interestingly enough, is Arbor Day.
Oh, it is?
And,
oh, perfect.
You know,
it's amazing.
Yeah.
That's good.
We're
That's
pretty
good.
lucky.
I mean, I think anybody that hears your story, you're not going to get a lot of haters, right?
Yeah, people love trees.
We are here to check out Angel City Lumber, and I hope you guys enjoy this as much as I'm going to. It's a great story, and we're going to meet the owner.
Yeah. Super zoned in. Right, yeah.
So,
hey,
Jeff?
Yes, sir.
Jason, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too.
So I wish I could get the smell on video, because it smells amazing in here right now.
The smell doesn't translate. Right
so
now
what are you cutting?
Yeah, we're cutting camphor.
Okay.
Which is endemic to Asia.
Okay.
And used in a lot of medicinal purposes.
Okay.
The tree.
Yep.
Which, for instance, Vicks Vapor Rub is probably.
That's what it smells like. Yeah.
That's really our most.
Okay.
And, actually, a kind of a good example of how a lot of urban trees that get planted don't really ring a bell as commercial lumber.
Okay.
But since human existence, we've been utilizing those trees.
Right.
Camphor is a great example.
We're going to get into the story, but all these trees are from Southern California, right?
From Los Angeles County.
Los Angeles County specifically?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. So that's kind of a cool thing. So somebody planted this camphor tree somewhere?
Yeah, this particular one was from Burbank.
Burbank, okay.
Up the
nice.
Yeah.
So, so as we look around here, what this is the first thing that a customer or somebody that's visiting walks into. What are you trying to? Is there a specific thing that you're trying to showcase here as somebody walks in?
Yes, I would say specifically the thing we're trying to showcase is if you look on each piece of lumber in this place, you'll see the location from where the wood is and what species it is.
Okay.
So the thing we're really trying to showcase is these are the trees that are among your daily lives as Angelinos. So when you're walking your dog in the morning before you go to work and you pass by a deodar cedar, oh, that's the kind of tree that I walk the dog by every morning that I see every day.
Okay, yeah.
So it's really trying to bring the communal relationship of people to the trees that they're among, so that wood isn't just a commoditized building material.
Right. What's your hero origin story here?
I was a carpenter.
Okay.
And a maker, and as such would source wood from all over, and I became infatuated and in love with wood. I learned under a furniture maker, a friend of mine, Sam Sawyer.
Okay.
And then in 2015, I was working for myself as a maker, and I saw a tree come down, a coast live oak, and I was there with my son and my dog, and I was like, what happens to this tree, And I saw it was a live oak, and I was like, wow, I just sourced oak, not live oak, but a white oak, European white oak, for $11 a board foot. And, it's hard making ends meet when you're a maker, and I was like, I know, complete opportunist, I'm gonna make a line of furniture from this live oak.
Okay.
So I talked to the ranger, and he's like, you can't just take a tree from the park, He's like, well, we have to get it out of here, it's a hazard.
And they must pay a contractor to do that, probably, right?
Yep. That turns into mulch.
Yeah.
And here I'm sourcing oak from Illinois, and we're throwing away ours. And it just started really getting me on this, what are we doing? And then that's how this all started.
So, did this start out of your garage? Or, you said you were a maker, so you must have had a space that you were working from. Or, did you have a place where you could store it in your backyard?
No, I did not. My wife would not have told that. So, as a maker, I rented bench space from a friend of mine who's a really talented furniture maker. Her name's Laura Zahn.
Okay.
And she had a maker space downtown.
Okay.
And I was telling her about this idea. She's like, that's a really great idea. You should talk to my husband about this. He's been wanting to invest his time and resources into a cool project. I pitched it on him. He's like, let's do it. So then Charles was essentially investing and ended up partnering.
Yep.
And so we started out, I had put to Charles' chagrin, I had put a $2,500 month-to-month deposit on a dirt lot in Van Nuys.
Okay.
that a tree service was using to store trucks.
Okay.
And we plunked a Lucas mill there,
Okay.
and we just milled slabs till the cows came home and air dried it.
That's amazing. So I'd love to get more of this story to see how we went from a parking lot in Van Nuys to what we see today.
Cool.
So, nice. All right, so let's check it out. I
Yeah,
see
let's
there's a
check it
couple
out.
of pieces out here. What's this? Just kind of a place to put some samples?
Yeah, this is so the sawyers can stage logs that are more accessible to
Okay.
than the log deck. So we got some Chinese elm here, some English walnut. That's from Claremont. And not to call attention to our mascot here. This is Muneen, our pomegranate.
Oh, okay.
We planted her, and the
Looks like there's a little bloom right there,
Yeah.
and maybe some fruit coming out.
Absolutely. And the mythos and the mythology of, at least classic Greek mythology for pomegranate with Persephone and Hades, we thought was really fitting for what Angel City Lumber is.
Nice.
The kind of balance between the underworld
Yeah.
and death and coming back to life and
That's awesome.
tree life. Yeah.
You got a lot of symbolism built in.
Yeah, that's what we're trying to.
Yeah.
That's kind of what it's about. Is really drawing people and connecting people back to trees and nature, and so we're a story-based people. So
Yeah,
that's why we.
It's
try
amazing.
to
Yeah, I
tell
love it.
stories.
I
Yeah.
love it.
So
All right,
we
so
can start, we'll walk. We're gonna go behind that building.
Okay.
We're gonna walk across the street.
Okay.
And I can kind of tell you a little bit about how we get our logs.
Yeah.
On
Now,
the way over.
and tell me, how did you end up here? So you said you had that Van Nuys parking lot,
That's right.
and how did you?
So my partner Charles at the time, we were milling and Van Nuys in the summer, and took some calories, and the fruits of our labor ended up a lot of times buckling
Okay.
in the UV rays because we were outside, didn't have any roof or lean-to or anything.
Yeah.
So we learned pretty quick that lumber warps
Yeah.
in the hot heat and UV rays even as it's air drying. So Charles had the idea of, well, number one, I think we're going to have to source more money, and number two, I think we need to find a building with a roof on it. City municipalities are starting to work with us. City of Burbank was our first.
So are they calling you and saying, "Hey, come get this tree," and then you work with one of those tree services and they cut it down and ship it here or bring it
Usually
here?
with the tree services, it's, hey, come get this tree.
Yep.
With the municipalities, it's, hey, we'd like to start a relationship.
Okay.
And that's typically how that works. And
Okay.
then we integrate with their urban forestry department.
Right.
It's kind of like as far as urban lumber goes, we're a larger operation,
Yeah.
but as far as like a lumber mill goes, we're a smaller operation.
Yeah.
So we get so many calls, and we want to at someday get to a point where we can answer them all.
Accommodate
instead of
them all,
saying, like,
yeah.
we're too inundated.
Yeah.
I carry around, and a few of us do, and it's around the shop as well, is these wood shavings, which are two species. One is Canary Island pine,
Okay.
and the other is California sycamore.
Oh.
So there's a symbolism there, which is to say that California sycamore is an LA Basin native. It's
Okay.
a riparian tree along the rivers.
Okay.
And it's native to this area. So
I
it's
see.
symbolic and representative for us, as this is representative of Los Angeles trees.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Canary Island pine is endemic to the Canary Islands off the coast of northern Africa. It's an
Yeah.
island. And also a very storied tree with humans. But we're calling that, if it's off the coast of Africa, we're calling Africa the origination of humans.
Yeah.
So symbolic of human tree union here.
Right.
So when
Right.
trees come in, when fresh trees come in the log deck, we like to say, hey, welcome home. We see you.
Nice.
We're going to tell your story.
Oh, I love it.
And, we're not going to just treat you like a bunch of boards.
Right. So it's almost, I'm thinking, feels a little pagan, but it's almost like
Yeah, it's a little bit. I guess it is, isn't it?
but it feels like, this had a life, it had a purpose, and it's going to have a further purpose, right? That's your whole thing.
That's it.
Yeah.
Just be respectful.
Yeah.
It's really
I love it.
Pretty simple. Yeah, and we actually, through the grant with the Forest Service, the whole purpose of that is to create a line of flooring, wide-board pine flooring.
Okay.
We're calling forest flooring.
Nice.
And
nice.
I'll show it to you.
Okay. Right.
So it's a really cool, like, it's an emerging thing that we're really starting. And the point is that we have the ability to put some intentionality behind a relationship with the Forest Service and a mill.
Yeah.
That's not just clear cutting and huge mass production. We can use.
You know, you went from being a maker to making products for makers. So what's the business side of things? How does that work? And, you know, is it profitable? And how long did it take to get profitable? And kind of tell us a little bit about that.
For sure. So this past year was our first profitable year. I mean, we've been doing this since 2015.
That's a long time.
And
that's a long time.
You know, interestingly enough, have never, until 3 months ago, have never had a marketing campaign.
Really?
And so that was all word of mouth. And so now we are able to target which market we're going after in LA with which products. I really was curious about what do we consume as Angelenos in lumber. And from everything I found, again from government sites, was that we're consuming as of 2022 we're consuming something like 2.64 billion board feet a year.
How many board feet in a redwood, let's say?
Yeah, so we're saying typically in a log, we're calling a log, roughly a 27-inch diameter by 8-foot length. Okay. It's roughly 264 board feet. But here's the interesting stat. So that's what we consume. And that's building materials, construction grade, millwork, casework, all of it.
Plywood, everything.
Not plywood.
Not plywood. Okay.
So I shouldn't say casework. So not plywood. So this is just lumber. Okay. What are we chipping? From trees from Los Angeles County.
That's not even, seems like it wouldn't even keep stats on that.
Well, they don't, but what they do keep stats on is the number of trees. They keep stats on dieback a year, urban. Angeles National Forest. County, city.
So you're chipping more. So let me just, if I followed the math, you're chipping more than we're using, right? So by another billion or almost, right?
So, I mean, it'd be nice if we could take our consumption down, period. Because I'm sure a lot of that is wasteful and all of that. So even if we dialed back our consumption, we have more than enough to supply our own community with the trees in our community.
Okay, so I'm sure you're getting to this, but is this the vision then? That's
the vision.
Okay, that's huge.
I would say if we're talking about vision, I don't know if we're talking about business at this point, but
both. I mean, the vision ties to the business, right? I mean,
is that I would love for ACL to grow in an industrial scale to maximize that, and then go away. All I am saying is that I think what we need to do is LA County is massive. And people think of us as a hyper-local model now. Well, what I'd love to do is be like, cool, but like it needs to be broken out by neighborhood. And I think people need to manage their urban forest plantings. But if we do relocalize lumber, community lumber needs to that local community. So instead of Los Angeles County, that becomes, you know, Pasadena. Or like Eagle Rock, Glassell Park, Highland Park.
So are you saying that you think you could put a mill in each of those communities? Oh, that's
I think
interesting.
everyone should have their own mill. I think everyone should manage their own forest. I think everyone should plant smartly, thinking about wildlife and the full ecology.
So our urban forest becomes more utilitarian even, not just for the shade and soaking up the carbon, but also for building purposes. What's the overall gross revenue?
Gross is 1.2 last year. So, you know, for a small business.
That's pretty good.
It's pretty good.
And you're feeding 12 families, including your own. So 13. And what's your name?
My name's Keon.
Keon. Nice to meet you, Keon. Thank you for showing me all this. This is amazing.
It's a cool one. It's got a little bit of everything.
Yeah, it really does. It really does. It's beautiful.
Yeah, these are actually I hope so.
All right. Thanks, Keon. Appreciate it. So here's the stack. That's some more walnut over there. And they're going to send that to the client, and they're going to use that in their own project. So they cut it off of their site, their property, and they're going to use it in their future projects. Very cool. The people who are so drawn to this, which is most humans, if they can, they want that story and they want to have that included in their story as they go forward, right?
Yeah,
so that's really amazing.
Yeah.
It's really amazing.
Yep, it really is.
Well, Jeff, this has been a absolutely amazing tour. Thank you for your time, and thank you for
Thank you for coming.
No, this has been really good. And I wish you all the future success and happiness and health for your family and yourself.
Thank you.
This is a great story. So thank you for letting us share it with you.
Yeah, happy Arbor Day.
Yeah, happy Arbor Day. Okay, so just wrapped up with Angel City Lumber, and really thank Jeff for his time. We got to meet some of his people. Really amazing, this operation that he's got down here and his vision for the future. It's great to see these beautiful trees that we all have such a connection to as humans being turned into something that's warm and, with us forever in a house or in a project somewhere. So it's really cool, and I wish them the best success. So thanks for coming along.